Burdur is one of the cleanest and the most beautiful city in Africa. Its palm trees, which are planted and grown on the main streets of the city. Its amazing and spectacular lake, Lake Tana, plus its historical, cultural and religious treasures make Burdur to be one of the most visited cities in Ethiopia. Several tourists from different corners of our world come to Ethiopia for tour, and Burdur is their main destination. Dear viewers, today on The View, I'm going to stay with an American visitor. Stay tuned. So my guest for today is Andy. How are you?
Fantastic.
How is everything here in Burdur?
Well, for me personally, my thought about the difference of the cities. So far at this point, Addis Ababa, if you want to get something done, if you want to make some money and do some business, Addis Ababa. Yeah. Culture, great. But as far as what I'm here for is more of a spiritual pilgrimage. Yeah. And a retreat for me to find my own peace and to help Ethiopia be more at peace. And in this case, to find peace and relaxation, Burdur is heavenly.
Appropriate place.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
I think it's probably because of less people here, less traffic and industry. And because of that, the air is incredibly fresh here. I did enjoy Addis Ababa, but you know, the air quality here, when you're exercising or, you know, enjoying nature, it was harder to find parks and things in Addis Ababa. Nature was far away.
Much crowded there.
Here, yeah. It's right here. You know, it's more a part of Burdur. I feel that the lake, which of course is the source of the Blue Nile and Abe River, is possibly, from my understanding of the world and nature, I have come to the conclusion that Lake Tana might be one of the most powerful places of nature in the entire world.
Wow, it's great to listen such fantastic words from you, Andy. We are going to talk more on our seat. Please, let's go. Why you come to this area? What initiates you to come to Ethiopia and to be here in Burdur?
In the last 2 years of my life, a series of events and lessons, things I've learned about the world and of my own life and my own ancestors, my own bloodline of German and British ancestry. I've been learning more than ever how much Ethiopia influenced not only my ancestors, of Christian ancestors, but also the whole world. And at in the time that the world is in right now, and what Ethiopia is going through right now, I could think of no better time to be here in prayer and being a positive representative of Euro-American people here, of reverence and respect for this culture that has influenced more than we realize, more than Europeans and Americans realize, how much Ethiopia made today's Europe and today's America possible. And it just seemed like a perfect time to be here, to respect the people, the culture, and the ecosystem, the nature here. I think the main exposure and awareness of Ethiopia in Western culture comes from Jamaica, from the Rastafarians.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Very few people actually understand the significance of the Rastafarians' declarations and proclamations that, in a nutshell, in summary, how significant, in their case, Haile Selassie was, but really, when we look back at the history, how significant and noble and wise many, almost all Ethiopian emperors have been throughout history. The Europeans, even in 1200 AD, Western time, in the Western calendar,
Yes.
there was a time period from 1200 to about 1700.
Yeah.
For 500 years, European explorers put aside mounds of money and time and project energy to search for, one example, the famous Prester John.
Prester John.
He was a legend. No one knew where he lived. He was a legend of a king, an emperor, who had a great kingdom that was peaceful, and people were healthy and thriving. And people looked in India, people looked in Pakistan, and then eventually they came to Ethiopia. And after a while, all European countries, they would refer to the Emperor of Ethiopia as Prester John. This kind of enlightened, awakened, very high consciousness, very powerful ruler of a peaceful society, a harmonious society. And so for centuries, they actually referred to the Ethiopian emperor as Prester John, even though he was rotating, even though it changed from emperor to emperor. And what this says to me, once again, is that the Western world doesn't realize how much Ethiopia has influenced us, politically even. And from afar, the Western world saw, my understanding of the Prester John phenomenon is that the Western world, from afar in those days, no internet of course, saw the Ethiopian kingdom and never heard bad news, never heard bad reputation about these emperors. And to me, that's what created the whole Prester John symbol, that they knew that for hundreds of years, this mysterious land in Africa had a very advanced ruler and a very advanced empire, which is very true historically. And so in my own search, it's almost similar to that.
So now you are here in Bahar Dar, and as you told me, you have stayed for a week here in Bahar Dar. So what things you have seen so far?
Well, the Orthodox monasteries and temples, churches, along with all the Christian temples and churches here, it creates a beautiful harmony with this community here. And of course there's the Muslim community. Of course there's Islam here, a strong Islamic presence here also. But I feel that the Ethiopian understanding of Christianity and Christ's teachings, for reasons we could discuss, of course, it seems to have in many ways, at least from my experience and understanding of Western Christianity, I feel a deeper connection to the teachings here, the teachings of the Bible, and the understanding of Jesus as a whole. There seems to be a deeper understanding that's brought about by the ancient, old practices and the old traditions here that root back so much further than European Christianity, even. And I feel that it's hard to explain, but I can feel it. I can feel the roots, the deep, deep, strong roots of faith and spirituality and religion here. And it's hard to explain, but it's very positive and it's very beautiful. I didn't, and this is with a lot of things, with the Ethiopian religious practices and establishments here, I didn't know that such deep connection to religion existed other than India, to be honest. The ancient ashrams and monasteries of India. And when I come here, it's amazingly similar. And on the island monastery, for instance, the focused energy, because it's an island, there's no distraction. There's no noise, there's no cars, there's no trains, no voices, no people talking. Of course, the monastery we visited, those islands are by gender, female, male. No males on the female island, no women on the male island. And of course, that has a potency and a power to it, where those men or those women are very focused on their devotion and their study. And to walk around and just see men just reading their Bibles, and you wonder, how many years has he been reading that Bible every day? And just you can feel that they're one. They're like one with their Bible. They and their Bible are very connected, and I wonder how much they've probably memorized it, and they probably live by the values that are taught in it. From what I can tell and I've experienced, the peace and the respect of the people for each other and for the visitors. And then to sustain the nature there and the peace is something that we take for granted in the Western world, in the commercialized Western world, where we see a beautiful island and we say, oh, well, let's make money there. Whereas the Ethiopians seem to say, this is a beautiful place, let's worship God here. I'm inspired,
Amazing.
Very inspired.
Yeah.
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 And then, of course, we visited the St. George Temple, the St. George Cathedral, just outside.
Yeah.
Which is on the mainland, and from what I understand, the oldest in Burdur.
Yeah.
And once again, a kind of inexplicable, you can't really explain the beauty. Of course, there's the art. Of course, there's the monks, the beautiful architecture of the building. But there's more to it, and I have yet to really understand. I don't know if anyone understands it. It's a spiritual, it's an invisible beauty to it that doesn't come about without time, without long time of devotion, which is what I'm experiencing here. I'm experiencing people that have been on their path, very, very strong path.
Yeah.
And in America, it's becoming harder and harder to find those kind of people. Here in Ethiopia,
Yeah.
many. It's not rare.
Exactly.
So, yeah, amazing.
So how do you get the people of Burdur? Talk me a little about the residents, the dwellers of Burdur. How do you get them?
Yeah, well, as a Westerner, of course, but also, my job in America, I work at resorts, also in America. So I appreciate and I understand the resort mentality, which is, we're here to help our guests.
Yeah.
And Burdur has a little bit more of that to it. It's more of a retreat town where people from Addis, and from Gondar and from the Shashamani and the surrounding, all cities around Ethiopia come here. to retreat, to be at peace, to have a religious, spiritual experience, or just to relax and enjoy the beauty of the nature. The boat we went out on the lake, I was just speechless. When we got off that boat, people were like, "How are you feeling?"
Yeah.
In the monastery too.
Yeah.
After the monastery and the boat,
Yeah.
I was just like, I almost didn't have words. I almost only had silence. That's how I felt. I felt deep peace.
Yeah.
And the people are who are, you know, constructing that experience here. And I can tell that the ancient religious and spiritual practices and activities of this area have almost amounted to a peaceful experience for the visitors. You know, what do real Christians do? They help people. They help people be comfortable and healthy and happy. They help the poor. Well, I'm not poor and I'm healthy, but here I am in this beautiful town, this ancient town, and I feel like many people here are really trying their best to give me the best experience from the bottom of their heart, honestly and honorably, nobly. And you know, we'll talk more about where we're staying here, but this is a prime example here of how there are options in Burdur that aren't in other Ethiopian cities as much, to be in the city, be in the culture, but also to feel safe and to feel relaxed.
Let's go to the hotel service here in Burdur. How do you get the accommodation, the total hotel service here in Burdur?
Yeah, right. So I came in, and within like a half-hour notice, I was able to book off the airplane from Addis. I was able to book a very nice room at the Jacaranda.
Yeah.
Jacarandas?
Yeah, Jacaranda.
Jacaranda Hotel, downtown.
Yeah, downtown.
Fantastic. The service was 5 stars. Amazing people, amazing service, incredibly clean and comfortable. And then, of course, I came here, which was my intention was to be more in nature.
Yeah.
And so I actually found this place by going on my phone and zooming in on Google Maps, because I looked at the place in the landscape where I wanted to be. And I wanted to be near the Abe River and the lake. And here, I'm by both. I'm very close to the river, very close to the lake, and we're surrounded by this tremendous nature. Very diverse little gathering of plants and trees, and thereby very diverse, and as a Westerner, amazing collection of animals and birds that I've been witnessing. Unreal, unbelievable. I've had the most amazing experiences with families of monkeys coming and dancing around, doing their dance, throwing them some bananas. And I've seen birds and heard birds that I did not know existed. Absolutely mind-blowing. In the same way that I've found really good service throughout my entire Burdur experience, really, everywhere I've gone, restaurants and hotels in the city, people have been fabulous. Less stressed. There's less stress than Addis Ababa, you know?
Yeah.
People are less hurried and worried and stressed. Much less here in Burdur.
Yeah.
So I come here to the lodge, the Abe Mensch Lodge, on the edge of town in the forest. And I feel safe. They've helped me so much understanding what to do here, getting a cell phone, taking me into town, helping me translate and find things. Our friend Mickey, one of the friends of the owner here, has been, I think Americans and Europeans should know this. There's people like Mickey here, you know? that if you're nervous about language, culture, food, I'm vegetarian. Mickey and the Abe Minch Lodge have completely suited my needs for diet. I don't eat meat, I don't eat fish, you know, and they have plenty of great, all natural, it's all natural organic food here. And I did have digestive tract issues when I first came, and my friend warned me about that. He said, "Oh, brother," you know, he's like, "Yeah, some Westerners have digestive tract issues with the spices and the different things here, the different foods here. Abe Minch Lodge, totally fine. My stomach, wonderful actually, quite nice.
Cool.
With the food and the serve and just the people, the front desk and the restaurant people, very, very nice."
Now you are here in Bahar Dar. Then what's your next plan? Would you go to other area like Gondar, Lalibela, Addis Ababa maybe?
I ask that everyone watching pray with me that I am able, because I may not be. We'll see. But I ask that everyone prays for my ability to visit the old capital city of Gondar. Because, for many reasons, many, many reasons. Historical, of course, but also, I know that Gondar is having problems right now. There's some tension there, possible political tension. But I think with prayer and positive action, I think that'll settle down. And I'd like to make it up there to pray also, and observe and respect the nature and culture that I know is so ancient and so powerful and beautiful. So that is really my hope and prayer, and that I can make it there. Not only for my own cultural exposure and experience, but because I know that if I can go there, I know that it will mean that it will have settled down there a little bit more. My hundreds and couple thousand Facebook friends and social media connections, and I believe their prayer, I believe their positive hopes from America and Japan and all over the world that I have connections on social media. I believe as I show them the beauty here and the culture here, that they are also sending good thoughts this way. And that's another reason I'm here. It's not just for my work, not just for my prayer, but now with the beauty of social media, you know, we'll be able to, for instance, post this video, and all my Western friends will be able to understand Ethiopia a little bit, maybe a lot more. And that'll at least bring people, when people's attention are here on what's going on and what this is, there's at least the prayer, there's at least the hopes from afar that also are very powerful. But I also, part of my intention here is to bring that attention of the Western world and around the world to Ethiopia and Bahir Dar, because I think people don't realize how significant Ethiopia is in their life.
Would you want to convey a message to the world, maybe about to visit Ethiopia, about to see, about to enjoy the environment, the culture, the history?
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. I think now is more important than ever. It's trickier to come over here. There's visa restrictions and things that have been in place in America, but it's worth coming right now. There are so many people on this planet who, like we talked about, don't actually realize how significant Ethiopia is in their life, including Europeans and Americans. They don't, you know, I highly suggest Googling this, of course. And to me, coming here to this land right now is more important than ever. The world as a whole is crazier than ever. It's the most crazy time in the world, maybe ever, in the history that we've ever heard of or known. And for my understanding of the energy and nature and reality of this world, Lake Tana and the Abe River that goes into the Nile River. 85% of the Nile River comes from this lake.
Yeah.
I had a dream during a prayer one night before visiting my friend who introduced me to this area, Menge, a children's shelter for homeless children. The night before visiting this children's shelter in Addis Ababa, in my prayers, I saw Lake Tana as a bulb, like a flower, a seed. Nile River was the roots coming out of it. The roots are down in Tanzania, just like a plant, just like a flower. Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, all the roots. But the bulb, the main seed, is here, Lake Tana. This beautiful flower, known as the Nile River, the Abe River, comes from this bulb. And it goes through Sudan, it goes through Egypt. And out where it comes, lo and behold, happens to be the exact place where many of us believe the Messiah, Jesus Christ, was born, raised, and did his work. And in this meditation, I saw the bulb going through Sudan, going through Egypt, coming out Israel as a beautiful flower, and Christ sitting in Jerusalem on this flower. And of course, the equation, 2 + 2 = 4. Well, water the root and enjoy the fruit. We cannot enjoy the fruit of Christ energy in Israel and peace in Israel if we do not water and nourish and love the bulb, this root here, Lake Tana, where we are standing right now. And I think people, if they think about that and contemplate this possibility and reality for themselves, I think they'll be inspired to come here and pray and do what they can to be a positive influence here themselves and to experience and to be healed by the positive experiences they will be having here, as I have. I felt blessed. I feel I'm trying to bless. I'm doing my best to bless here. And in return, I feel tremendous blessings coming back at me. And I think people, if they know that, if we can bless this water, I think more than just the Middle East and Africa will be blessed. Where has Christ influenced? Christ has influenced the whole world. So on that note, I think if we can uplift and help and bring positive energy and respect Ethiopia, we will be helping the entire world very, very powerfully.
Andy Topple, a visitor from the United States of America, I do hope so that we have had a fascinating time together. Thank you for your time, Andy.
Incredible, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm honored to be here in this land and honored to be able to speak with you and the Ethiopian people and the rest of the world for the Ethiopian people from Ethiopia right now. Truly a pleasure and honor.
Great, fantastic to talk to you, Andy.